and welcome to this NDTV special. Few people know that last year when India was celebrating its historic World Cup win and Yuvraj Singh was being celebrated as the man of the series, he was already battling first stage cancer. In fact, he didn't know it himself. Since then, his successful fight against cancer has proved to be an inspiration for so many others who are fighting the same fight every single day. That is why, on this program today, as Yuvraj Singh reaches out to what he's described as the larger cancer family, setting up a special foundation to highlight awareness around cancer and delivering the important message that you can fight it, we're saying today that the most important sixer Yuvraj Singh ever hit was to hit cancer for a six. First, I'd like a big round of applause because this is something that I think we can all learn from and all derive hope from. Yuvraj, Lance Armstrong, whom you've said you derived great inspiration from because he was, after all, somebody who came back from third stage cancer. He had a lovely quote and he said, "Pain is temporary, but quitting is forever." And at some point, you and your mother decided that you would take the pain, but you would not quit. How did you find that strength?
Well, I think we both derive our strength from a Guruji, which my mom is very close to, and myself. And it was definitely the toughest period of our time because I see my life through my mom, and my mom does the same. So I remember getting diagnosed for the first time, and I had to shed tears for 2 days.
You cried?
Yes, I did, but I didn't show it to anyone. I try and hide my tears most of the time. I keep my problems to myself. That's the way I am. So it was tough. We were not able to come to terms to what I was going through, and as you know, winning the World Cup was great. The feeling sinking in took a bit of a time, but this was just not sinking in, and there was a lot of confusion around the diagnosis, and it took a bit of a time to understand what we need to do about it.
Because you were asked questions about why you delayed diagnosis, why you delayed treatment, why you went in for an alternative treatment at first. Looking back, do you regret any of those choices? What would you advise to other people? Because you spoke a little bit about being in denial at first. You know, it's really the toughest thing, I think, is to say it out loud. Yes, I have cancer.
When somebody tells you you have cancer, it's unacceptable. You don't want to accept it. The first thing you say to yourself, if I have cancer, am I going to live? What I'm going to do? You get scared, you're in denial, you get confused, what I'm going to do. So I don't regret it, but I did make a few mistakes to start, you know, going with alternative therapy and not getting the right diagnosis. I think I delayed my treatment about 3-4 months, which was not the right thing to do. That's why it was a tough time, and it was tough for mom. It was tough for our friends to understand what I was going through and how we're going to go about it.
Shabnam, I want to ask you, because Yuvraj has said repeatedly that in many ways he wouldn't have got to this point if you weren't there with him every moment of the time. Now you have a strapping adult hero of a son, you know, and then suddenly was it like having a little baby again?
Yeah, it was like, you know, it was just like having a 2-year-old Yuvraj with me. And he was like scared of everything, you know, everything he looked up to me for assurance, you know. And like it was like kind of a disbelief on his face that, is it really happening to me, you know? And
you know, like little children ask parents, if there is a God, why do bad things happen to good people? I mean, is there a little bit of that universal question asking, why is this happening?
No, because I think UV read a lot of books, you know, and he figured it out that it can happen to anybody. So it was not that kind of question. It was just like, you know, the treatment was so painful and so bad, you know, like
the chemotherapy.
Yeah, it kind of knocked him out totally, you know, because he's a very strong boy. He really had a lot of courage to go through all the tests and get it done. Whatever I would ask him, like he would just, without no questions asked.
But you said it was like having a 2-year-old UV.
Yes.
And he's spoken about how also at times, I mean, he cried his heart out, right?
Yes, he used to cry his heart out. But then he told me that even in Lance Armstrong's book, he's written that the medicines make you cry. So then I realized I have to be strong let him cry, you know, because if I start crying with him, then it's going to be very tough.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.